Not enough strength. Not yet.
One day,
Come on, man. We're gonna need more than a few buckets to save
Okay.
her.
We're coming. We're coming.
We're gonna need more than a few buckets to save her.
Journal
We're gonna
updated.
need more than a few buckets to save her.
Fire, ship.
Blasted orcs have learned how to play with
Right,
fire.
a basket. Okay,
Come on, men. Put your backs into it.
well, if I had enough strength, we could move barrel.
We're gonna need more than a few buckets to save
Come
her.
on, men. Put your
Oh,
backs into it.
I know what I...
Come on,
Wait.
Put your backs into it!
We got something.
We're gonna need more than a
Green
few
scroll.
buckets to save her.
Can we do it here?
Come on, men. Put your backs into it.
Woohoo! We did it! Can we talk to you?
Greetings.
All hail the rain spirit. That was a fine display of magicianship, it was. Rue knew what he was doing bringing in a source center, didn't he? Braveheart. How about that burning ship? I thought the old gal's fate was sealed when the orc shaman set his fiery gaze on her sails, but you managed to rescue her from a watery grave. Closest thing to a miracle I've ever seen.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess
Tell me
of
about
Farrell's
yourself.
carriage
What's
for
there to
joy?
say? Just your average Sicilian trying to make a living. Tell me about Sicily.
Oh, and don't forget the time
What do
he
you...
got
Oh,
caught passing a
yeah,
look
tell me.
note to the lizard
Never imagined that
councillor's
finding a
wife.
quarter pound of moldy, moth-eaten flour would be a cause for celebration in this city. How things have changed. What do you know about the undead plague? They're a nightmare incarnate, aren't they? Let a priest explain that to me. How we all supposedly become the gods' children of death when in fact, foul magic can bring us back and make us haunt our own kin in endless, mindless deviance. Can you tell me about the attacks upon the harbor? Cecile survived by Eru's staff alone, I tell you. The Legion did what they could, but without the wizard's help, we Sicilians would be in chains or dead by now. Tell me about the Legion. Oh, the Legion has been around for the better part of a century now, founded by the Council of Seven to keep peace. Thanks to the Legion, there hasn't been a war since the 1st Battalions put an end to the Lizard Uprising and the Dwarf clan conflicts. Imagine that. No wars at all for nigh on 100 years. Until the orcs got restless, that is. Can you tell me about the orcs? I can't believe it's already been 2 weeks since we nearly lost Sissel to those devils. That terror, though, is just a memory now. Feels fresh as day. So, what's the latest gossip?
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my life.
There is no latest gossip, perhaps? What have you heard about Councillor Jake's murder? Oh, sorry. No one can quite explain it. One day life is humming along in its usual way, and next there are vacant eye holes menacing us from around every corner. Major Cecil is growing gray trying to solve that puzzle. What have you heard about Councillor Jake's murder? A terrible crime. Councillor Jake was Sicilian himself, born and bred. I'm certain a scheming wife, a foreigner mind you, was involved. Anything to trade? What have you got? You have a knockdown arrowhead. I want 45 for that, do you? What else you got? You've got a pillow. There are feathers inside. And gold. Outmoded cloth bracers. Alright. Well, let's see. Let me sell you that.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Farrell's carriage for a joyride?
Painting.
Oh, and don't forget
So we should be able to do that, right? Thank you.
Is that why we never sail to Youthful anymore?
Take it easy.
Bye. That loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky chap loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Farrell's carriage for a joyride?
Alright.
Knowing him,
So let's
drove it
talk
straight
to the other
pub.
people. How about you? Can we talk to you?
And don't forget the
Back
time
again?
he got caught passing a
Oh,
love
that's
note
Pablo,
to the lizard
sorry.
councillor's wife.
Is
What's
that
the
why
latest
we never
gossip?
sail to youthful gore anymore?
You know, orcs
Sailor,
aren't so
what
different
news
from us humans. Simple pleasures like long walks on the beach and playing in the sand
That
are
loopy
just as
legionnaire
enjoyable for them
really
as
thinks that
anyone.
orky charmed loves it.
Okay, I'll take
I
mine.
wouldn't let an orc within
Bye.
500 yards of my loving nature.
Let's get down
Ever
here.
hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful
Is
gore
that
anymore?
Bertie still a right beaut?
Greetings.
As fine a specimen as one
By
of
the
us
seven,
stocks up.
there's nothing like the smell of the sea air. How about that burning ship? There was some fast acting there, many thanks on behalf of all of us seamen. That was quite the attack on the harbor. Who knows if it's even over for sure? Those damn orcs keep sending us these terrible surprises. Tell me about yourself. What's it to you, dry bones? Okay, tell me about Chrysil. This place is so dead, even the air feels still. Have you been past that sad market in the main square?
Sailor,
No
what
reason
news
to
from
go
the
unless you
mainland?
find yourself in need of a
nothing
rotten
new, sir.
potato or
Zombies,
half a squirrel
skeletons.
carcass.
You know the story.
What do you know about the undead plague? The undead are like a pestilence, a disease that festered in the devil's own bowels. But just like 'twere the rats that once brought the plague, these ghouls must have sprung from some perverted origin too. Who are the rats in Sicile, I wonder? Can you tell me about the orcs? I've known many orcs in my time. Certainly they can be a bit rough around the edges, crush every bone in your hand when they shake it, and personal hygiene
Is
isn't their
that
strong
Bertie
suit.
still a right beaut?
But
Yes,
some I'd call
fine
friends.
as
The
specimen
tribes
as
up in the
one of us
mountains,
stocks
though,
up.
they're different. Feral, ruthless, as if their brains just cannot comprehend civility or compassion. Well, thank you. You just have some money? Maybe I can sell you something I don't want anymore? No, you don't have enough money. Oh. Can you repair it? Wow, okay. Interesting.
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing new, sir.
Yes,
Zombies,
Mary.
skeletons. You know
Your
the
name
story.
is Mary? Okay. Bye.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy...
Greetings.
Marv, not Mary. By the seven, there's nothing like the smell of the sea air. Well, you have a name.
Is that
So you might
Bertie
have
still
some
a
more to
right
say. How about
beaut?
Yes, sir. As
That
fine a
ship's got a
specimen
soul
as
too,
one of
you
us
know. You did
stocks
a
up.
mighty fine thing saving that barge. For those of us raised in crews instead of families, it's akin to saving a fellow man. The harbor? Madness. Thought we were done with those swampy uglies a fortnight ago. Note, though, that none of them tried to come close to the tide splitter. Tell me about yourself. Seawater runs through my very veins, it does. After a few days on land, I feel there's a drier than a salted fish. Tell me about Sicile.
Sailor,
Folks from
what
around the
news from
realm had heard
mainland?
things are
Oh,
getting bad in
nothing new,
Sicile, but
sir.
the people
Zombies,
here, it's the
skeletons.
people here
You know the
who are
story.
worse than the conditions. All they can talk about is the Legion reinforcements that they're so very sure are coming. I'd say they stopped waiting around and set to solving their problems themselves. What do you know about the undead plague? I was a frightful fool once, wanting to see one of the undead for myself. I hadn't ventured 100 yards beyond the city walls when I spotted one, just as it spotted me. It stiffed like a bloodhound, and those eyes, they
Is
filled
that
with bloodlust.
Bertie still a
The
right
next moment it
beaut?
charged and I
Yes,
dashed
sir.
back
As
to town
fine
like a
a
hare with
specimen
its
as
tail
one
on
of us
fire.
stocks up.
You can imagine my dreams. Fool that I am, I deserve them. Can you tell me about the attacks on the harbor? Sicile survived by Arrow's staff alone, I'll tell you. The Legion did what they could, but without the wizard's help, we Sicilians would be in chains, or dead by now. Now, the orcs? Orcs have been giving Sicilians quite some trouble these days. Personally, I don't think it'd be all
Sailor,
bad
what
if the
news from
orcs
the
gained a little
mainland?
power
Oh,
in
nothing
Rivelin.
new, sir.
Wouldn't be the worst
Zombies,
thing in the world to show
skeletons.
the dusty
You know
old
the
man who
story.
run this place what a matriarchal society can do. And there's nothing more fearsome than an orcish queen who's caught a whiff of an opportunity. Oh, what have you got? Fun with Fluids, Volume 1. I'd like to buy that.
Is that Bertie still a right beaut?
Okay,
Yes, sir. As
so
fine a specimen as one
I
of
have
us
to give you
stocks up.
something worth 56. That's 180. How about this? That's 68. And it's gonna be fairly close. Oh, there we go. Now we can switch to that. Useful object in a weapon. I wonder if I can repair with them. One-handed branch, that's worth 10. We should keep those up because I can actually use
Sailor,
those for
what
things.
news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing
Down
new,
arrow.
sir. Zombies, skeletons. You know the story.
Piercing. I can probably sell... That's 125, no. So I really think that's about as close as we're gonna get. Sure.
Is that Bertie still a right
Can we
beaut?
do that
Yes,
trade?
sir. As fine a specimen as one of her stock, sir.
Oh, you're gonna only give us 28 for it. Oh. Oh, okay. I was misunderstanding stuff there. So I put that there. You're gonna give us 53. Well, we've got 2 of these. Oh, I see.
Sailor,
So you
what
see the
news
offer
from the
price there.
mainland?
Gotcha,
Oh, nothing
gotcha.
new, sir.
No, we still
Zombies,
haven't looked at that
skeletons.
mysterious bottle, have
You
we?
know the story.
I'd like to know what those are good for. Okay. Oh. Let's go back. Oh, it resets the offer. I see. Can we offer that? Your offers and oh, sorry. That's not what I can do. This. 3.
Is that Bertie still a right beaut?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As fine a
How's that?
specimen as one of
I
her
accept
stock,
your
sir.
offer. Thank you. Alright. I'll take my leave.
Bye.
Bye.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charmed loves
Okay, let's
it.
read this. Fun with
I wouldn't
clues.
let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing new.
Farhangite
Zombies,
is an intimidating
skeletons,
plant. It was, after all, named after one of
Joyride.
Riverland's fiercest heroes.
Knowing him,
You can imagine
he
what
drove it
effects such a
straight to
plant
the
might
pub.
have when mixed into a
Oh,
potion.
and don't forget the time
Woe
he
betide
got
he who
caught
faces
passing a
foe
love
who
note
hath
to the
fought the
lizard
file of
councillor's
Farhangite.
wife.
Is that why we never sail
Okay.
to youthful gore anymore?
That's volume 1.
Speaking of youthful gore,
Is that
that
Bertie
loopy
still a right
legionnaire
beaut?
really
The old art of
thinks
mixing
that
potions
orky
is
charm
not just for
loves
apothecaries.
it.
Anyone with a
I
mind to
wouldn't let
learn
an
the
orc
trade
within
can
500
put
yards
1
of
and
my
2
loving
together.
nature.
For every potion, begin at the beginning with an empty vial.
Ever heard
1
about
penny
the time
bun
the
mushroom
captain
can be
took the
wrung
Duchess
for a
of
great deal
Farrell's
of health,
carriage for a
while
joyride?
squeezing the poison from a magic
knowing him, he
garret
drove it
mushroom
straight to the
is as
pub
easy
and
as plotting murder.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got
Let's
caught
look at that
passing a
mysterious
love note
bottle.
to the lizard
Read.
councillor's wife.
Thank you for backing
Is that
us
why
on
we never sail
Quickstarter.
to youthful gore anymore?
That's awesome.
Speaking
Sailor,
of youthful
what news from the
gore,
mainland?
that
Oh, nothing
loopy
new, sir.
legionnaire
Zombies,
really thinks that
skeletons.
orky
You know the
charm
story.
loves it.
This is a huge
I wouldn't let an
place.
orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Okay.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Farrell's carriage
Okay,
for a
so who do we
joyride?
get here? Pablo, we've already talked
Knowing
to.
him, he drove it straight to the pub and
What's in there?
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard
that?
councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to youthful gore anymore?
Okay.
Is that
Speaking of
Bertie
youthful
still a
gore,
right beaut?
that
Yes,
loopy
sir. As
legionnaire
fine a
really
specimen
thinks
as one of
that
her stock,
orky
sir.
charm loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards
Hello.
of
Greetings.
my loving nature.
Ahoy, sailor! How are you enjoying the
Ever
fresh
heard about
winds
the
of
time the
Cicero?
captain took the Duchess of Farrell's
Tell me about
carriage for a
yourself.
joyride?
Name's Conrad, cargo
knowing
trader,
him,
sea
he
captain,
drove
and
it straight
expert
to
in
the
all
pub
things
and
nautical. Folks across Andavale know how to give old
Oh, and
Conrad
don't
a holler
forget the time he got
when it comes
caught
time to
passing
rare
a love
when
note
it comes
the
to rare
lizard
imports and
councillor's
magical
wife.
items.
Is that why we never
What do you
sail
think of
to
that
youthful
attack on
gore
the harbor?
anymore?
Those orcs must be out of their barbarous
Speaking of
minds
youthful
launching an
gore,
attack on a city where a
that
great wizard
loopy
resides.
legionnaire really
Though
thinks that
even I must
orky
admit they
charm
put up a hearty
loves
effort.
it.
I wouldn't let an orc within
I
500
tell you, the only
yards of
time
my
I'd consider
loving
waging a suicide campaign like that
Ever heard
be if
about the
whatever
time
I
the
saw was
captain
something
took the
worth
Duchess
dying
of
over.
Farrell's carriage for a joyride?
That's a good point.
Knowing him,
Oh.
he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught
My.
passing a love note to the
Oh
lizard
my,
councillor's
oh my, oh
wife.
my.
Is Is that why we never sailed
At
to
least we have scrolls, fortify scrolls, bloodletting, midnight oil scrolls,
Speaking of
rain
youthful dog,
scrolls,
that looping legionnaire
blitz,
really
golden into
thinks that orky
freezing,
chap
farseer,
loves it.
farseer,
I wouldn't let an
granting
orc within
improved
500
sight,
yards of my loving
immune to
nature.
poisoning, warning touch skill book.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Farrell's
I've not
carriage
learned
for a
this skill
joyride?
yet.
Knowing him,
Valentine?
he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't
You have
forget
not learned
the time
this
he
skill
got
yet.
caught passing a love
much
note
is
to
it?
the lizard councillor's wife.
245.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore?
Melee power stance skill book,
Speaking
poisoning
of youthful
skill book,
dog, that
and a battering
looping
ram skill book.
legionnaire really thinks that orky chap
I think you should
loves it.
get the skills.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my
Oh, wow.
loving nature.
Look at these. So
Ever hear
nice.
about the time the captain took the Duchess
that?
of Farrell's
Resurrect
carriage
scroll.
for a
Okay.
joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the
Oh,
pub.
he's got nice stuff.
Oh,
but
and don't
skill
forget
books.
the
Let's
time
start
he
with
got
skill books.
caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
All right.
Is that why
We're
we
gonna
never
keep
sailed
these.
to
I think these are
youthful gore
repair
anymore?
hammers. So
Speaking
we're
of
going to
youthful
sell
dog,
you.
that looping legionnaire really thinks that
You can
orky
offer me
chap
52
loves
for
it.
it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
And I gotta keep that.
Ever hear about the time the captain took
Okay,
the
so
Duchess
here we
of
have a
Farrell's
broader
carriage
copper
for a
ring.
joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the
And-
pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed to
Oh.
youthful gore anymore?
Immune to poisoning
Speaking
scroll.
of youthful dog, that
Get off me
looping
66 for
legionnaire
that.
really thinks that
Can I
orky
open
chap
that? No, I'm
loves
already
it.
doing that.
I wouldn't let an
Okay,
orc
so
within 500
126.
yards of my loving nature.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ever hear about the time the
think-
captain took the Duchess of Farrell's carriage for a joyride?
That's
Oh,
82.
knowing him,
Because he has
he drove
that.
it straight to the pub.
This.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught
That.
passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore?
Cup of water. No, not cup
Speaking
of
of
water.
youthful dog, that looping legionnaire really thinks that orky chap loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Okay, let's look at all these skill books.
Ever hear about the time
This
the
one's
captain took the
180,
Duchess of Farrell's
battering
carriage
ram.
for a joyride?
Poisoning's
Oh, knowing
360.
him, he drove
This
it
one's
straight to the
270.
pub.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Okay,
Is that why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore?
you already know this skill. Okay,
Speaking of
battering
youthful
ram, you
dog,
already know this
that
skill.
looping legionnaire really thinks that
Poisoning.
orky
Okay,
chap
so let's go back.
loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving
Okay, so
nature.
let's put this here. We're gonna have to give these to
Ever hear about
Val.
the time the captain
I
took
think
the
to get this
Duchess of
item.
Farrell's carriage for a joyride?
Let's just go back to Val
Knowing him,
and
he
check.
drove it straight to the pub.
You have not learned this
Oh,
skill
and
yet,
don't
and I would
forget
like
the
to
time
try.
he got caught passing
I
a
would
love
love that
note
one
to
too,
the
but
lizard
okay,
councillor's
hang on
wife.
here.
Is that why
You'll
we
be
never
right back.
sailed to youthful gore anymore?
Don't go anywhere. Okay,
Speaking of youthful dog,
send that to
that
Valentine.
looping legionnaire really thinks that
Yeah,
orky
that's
chap
Valentine.
Sailor, what
loves
news
it.
from the mainland?
I wouldn't let an orc within
news,
500 yards of my loving
skeletons.
nature.
Send
You
that
know
to
the story.
Val.
Ever hear about the time the captain took
Okay.
the Duchess of Farrell's carriage for a joyride?
So Val,
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Is that
Oh, and
Bertie
don't
still
forget
a
the
right
time he got
beaut?
caught
Yes, sir.
passing a
As
love
fine
note
a
to the lizard
specimen as one of her
councillor's
stock,
wife.
sir.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore? Greetings!
Speaking of youthful dog, that looping legionnaire
got that
really thinks that
running
orky
touch skill
chap
book. I want that.
loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within
Right.
500 yards of my loving nature.
That.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Farrell's carriage for a joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got
You
caught
want-
passing a love note to the
I
lizard
think-
councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed
gonna-
to youthful gore anymore?
I must have it, I'm afraid.
Speaking of
I think
youthful
it's going to be
dog,
very useful.
that looping legionnaire really thinks that orky chap loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever hear
Okay.
about the time the captain took the Duchess of Farrell's carriage for a joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he
Poison,
drove it straight
resurrect.
to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the
Advice.
time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard
Slow down.
councillor's
Those
wife.
that we don't want to
Is that why
sell.
we never sailed to youthful gore
Screen
anymore?
arrow.
Speaking of youthful gore,
Out
that
needle.
loopy legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm
Steel bar.
loves it.
Antlers.
I wouldn't let an orc with
Those are all
500
very
yards
nice.
of my loving nature.
Right, so we got
Ever heard about
312.
the time the captain took the
So
Duchess
I
of
guess we're gonna
Ferrol's
have to give
carriage
him
for
some
a joyride?
cash.
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't forget
So-
the time he got caught passing a love note
So
to
we're
the
gonna have to
lizard
give at least
councillor's
200.
wife.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore?
So
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire
right?
really thinks that orchid charm
oh, I'm 10 short.
loves
Okay.
it.
I wouldn't let an orc within
Close.
500 yards of my
Close,
loving
but no
nature.
cigar.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
All right.
Oh, knowing him, he drove
Offer?
it straight to the pub.
Oh,
You
and
need to
don't
learn your
forget the time he got caught
Awesome.
passing a love note
Thank
to the
you.
lizard
Wish we
councillor's
could afford
wife.
more, but I
Is that
think
why
this
we
is
never
about.
sailed to youthful gore anymore?
Oh, yes. There's lots of stuff you have that looks
Speaking of
absolutely
youthful
fabulous.
gore,
Bye.
that loopy legionnaire
Okay.
really thinks that
Read it to learn.
orchid charm
Where
loves
is it?
it.
Where? Yes.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Sailor, what
Ever heard
news from the
about time
mainland?
captain
Oh,
took the
nothing
Duchess
new,
of
sir.
Ferrol's carriage
Zombies,
for a joyride?
skeletons.
Pyrokinetic
You know the
spell.
story.
Him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
I never even
Oh, and
checked to
don't
see.
forget the time he got caught passing a love note
Okay,
to the
so she doesn't
lizard
have pyrokinetic,
councillor's
but she's
wife.
going to be our magic
why we
person.
never
Is that
sailed to
Bertie
youthful
still a
gore
right
anymore?
beaut?
Yes, sir. As fine a
Oh.
specimen as one of
Well, that
us.
was a
Speaking of
waste.
youthful gore, that
I guess we have to
loopy
remember to put a point in
legionnaire
there.
really thinks that
Okay.
orchid charmed
Well, it's not
loves
really
it.
a waste.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards
Okay.
of my
What
loving
have we got
nature.
here? We got a plain sailor.
Greetings. Ever heard about the
What do we
time the
got?
captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage
Okay.
for a joyride?
You.
Oh,
Are
knowing
you? That's
him,
Pablo.
He drove
Okay.
it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love
Oh.
note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we
please?
never
Bye.
sailed to youthful gore
Bye.
anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a
No,
joyride?
no, no.
Oh, knowing him,
Sailor,
he drove
what
it
news
straight to
from
the
the
pub.
Oh, nothing
Oh,
new.
and
Audio.
don't forget the time he got
Skeletons,
caught passing a
you know
love
the
note
story.
to the lizard councillor's wife.
Okay, I'm just going to turn the
Is that why
voices
we
down.
never sailed to youthful gore anymore?
If they're now too low, please let me know.
Speaking of youthful gore,
So let's
that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving
Now we gotta
Bertie,
open
that's
every
still
box
a
and
right
every
beaut?
barrel.
Yes, sir. As
Ever heard
fine a
about the time the
specimen
captain
as one
took
of
the
us.
Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Oh, knowing him,
Okay,
he
so
drove
who do
it
we have
straight to the
here?
pub.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never
Oh,
sailed to
Lewis.
youthful
Great
gore?
source hunter. Who better to ask?
Oh,
Speaking of youthful
I have a
gore,
feeling
that
we have a
loopy
task.
legionnaire really
our
thinks
home,
that
our
orchid charm
livelihood,
loves
all
it.
sunk in a matter of
let an
minutes
orc
while we
within
could do
500
nothing but
yards
look
of my
on.
loving
Oh,
nature.
nothing new,
tell me about
Zombies,
yourself.
Skeletons.
Ever heard about the time the captain
Well,
took the Duchess of Ferrol's
We
carriage
were
for a
merchants.
joyride?
That seems like a moment ago.
Straight to the
With our
pub.
ship sunk, we're little more than 3 men with nothing more than to say
Oh, and
boo.
don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard
What happened here?
councillor's wife.
These bleeding orcs, they can't keep off this place for the life of them. They came in here slinging fireballs and swinging swords.
Speaking of youthful gore,
Nothing we could do to
that
defend
loopy
ourselves.
legionnaire really thinks that
But
orchid
finding
charm
work.
Bertie, that's still
With
a
our
right
ship
beaut.
gone, nothing
let
for
an
it
orc
but to
within
get a
500
job.
yards, my
Slim
love.
pickings around here, that's for sure. Maybe you can keep an eye out,
Ever
though.
heard about the time the captain took
Sure.
the Duchess of
Why not?
Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
How about that burning ship?
Knowing him,
That was a sight
he
great,
drove it
great
straight to
stunning
the
show
pub.
of magic you pulled, it was. Wish you could have been around when our own barge
and
went
don't
down in
forget
flames.
the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we
Secrets
never
of the
sailed to
Scroll.
youthful gore
A
anymore?
book about crafting. I would like to buy that. You're asking for
Speaking of youthful
you're asking
gore,
56.
that
Okay.
loopy legionnaire
no.
really thinks that orchid
Can't.
charm
You there.
You know the
I wouldn't
story.
let an orc
Few
within
honest
500
sailors
yards
find a
of
living
my
wage
lovely
around
nature.
here.
Bye.
Bye.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess
Philip.
of Ferrol's
Greetings.
carriage for a joyride?
Have you found us a job
Not
yet?
him.
We'll take
He
anything,
drove it straight
really.
to the pub.
Oh, and
Well,
don't
we were
forget the
merchants,
time he
but
got
seemed like a
caught
moment ago with
passing
our
a love
ship
note to the
sunk. Okay,
lizard
so he's going to say the
councillor's
same
wife.
thing.
Is that why we
What
never
has he
sell
got?
to youthful gore anymore?
Orange juice.
Speaking
who
of
smelts
youthful
it.
gore, that
Oh,
loopy
can't buy
legionnaire
those.
really thinks that orky charmed
Loose
loves
leather
it.
armor.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500
Bertie
yards of
S.
mine.
Still
bye.
alright, Beaut?
Yes, sir. As
You.
Ever hear about the time the
Greetings.
captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Nope.
Not
Okay,
him.
you've got.
He drove it straight to the pub.
Bye.
Bye.
And don't forget the time he got
Bye.
caught passing a love note to the
Bye, bye,
lizard
bye.
councillor's wife.
That's what I like to do is buy.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves it.
You
I
there.
wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of mine.
Now that we helped with the burning ship, we can just go over here leisurely and check the fish rack.
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught
Bertie
passing a
S.
love
Still
note to the
alright,
lizard
Beaut?
councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sell to youthful gore anymore?
Can't reach.
Speaking of youthful gore, that
An
loopy
ornate
legionnaire
chest.
really thinks that
I want
orky
it.
charm
Alright,
loves it.
fine, I'll look at the basket
I wouldn't let
instead.
an orc within 500 yards of
No.
mine.
Let's see if we can. I guess we have to walk on water, or can we do anything with? I don't think we can. Maybe you need a burn spell to burn it. We did look at this, right? Yes, it's up to you. I'll take that. What crafting? Patty cake, patty cake. Thank you. Bar apple juice, thank you. What finer feeling can there be than when a group of rough and tumble adventurers gather round a fire to lose the chill and share tales of beast slain, loves lost, and victories seized from the jaws of evil? Ah, perhaps when the cooking pot appears at the fire's heart, the promise of a thick stew or tender pie beckoning from its iron depths. So I guess we could sell these. Wish we could tell which ones we've read easily. Well, we're not going to sell that one. So we sold, or we've read that one. Yeah, we've read that one. Just read this one. Adventures Field Guide. Yep, read that one. Just double checking.
And then I said to
Parchment.
myself, if I don't start earning an
Okay,
extra
fun with
gold for each
fluids. I know.
hour,
I'm pretty sure we read both of these.
good on you. These boss men respect confidence. So what did he say about those? They reckon he's more serious my age. Yes,
So
honest,
I
paid.
could go back to that guy, but I think I'll wait on. We'll sell. No, we'll find skill books. We'll find skill books. So. Oh, okay. So, looks like there's more here. Let's look at this open area here at the beginning first. Talk to this guy, citizen. Hello.
Greetings.
Steady, boy,
Saved
steady.
that ship
We
all
believe
by
in
your
soon
lonesome.
as we're
Quite
packed
feat.
up.
If I had the magic touch about me, I'd have lent you my hand too. How about that burning ship? Thought the old gal's fate was sealed when the orc shaman set his fiery gaze on her
And then I
sails,
said to him, I
but
said
you managed to
myself,
rescue her
if I
from a
don't
watery
start
grave.
earning an extra
Closest
gold
thing to a
bits an
miracle I've
hour,
ever seen.
I'll walk out that door.
Well,
Good on you.
thank you.
These boss men respect
Tell me about
confidence,
yourself.
So
Oh,
what
you
did he
know,
say
life in
about
Crystal isn't always easy, but I'm doing my
day
best.
labour's more suited to
Tell me
my
about
age.
Crystal Land.
Yes,
Before
honest,
this war left us hanging like the condemned from a tree, this was the greatest city in Rivellon. My own grandfather made his fortune here, started as a poor fisherman with nothing but a few trout to his name, and grew his meager trade into a business employing a fair piece of the local population. Of course, the company had to be liquidated as the population shrunk, and now his legacy is no more than the pole and rags he started out with. What do you know about the undead plague? Praise be that Aru the wizard had the wits about him to build those newfangled weapons of his, or Sicil, I want to call it Crystal, but it's Sicil, would have been the very throne of decay by now. Because of him, life here is almost bearable again, despite The Walking Dead. Though it's rather eerie and perplexing at the same time to think about how quickly one adjusts to great dangers when a handful of guardians hold them at bay. Can you tell me about the attacks upon the harbor? Sicil survived by Uru staff alone, I'll tell you. The Legion did what they could, but without the wizard's help, these Sicilians would be in chains or dead by now. Yes, I think I've heard that one before. Tell me about the Legion. I think some of us natives forget how grim things were before the Legion stepped in. No fortifications, nothing stopping a deranged zombie from snatching your feet out from under you. All people notice these days is that things have been mostly static for the last 2 years. But the orcs? I suppose the ones attacking us are as brutal as any soldiers are given to be, but it's widely known that orcish society isn't totally unlike our own. It's a shame these eruptions of violence wedge such mistrust between the races. So, what's the latest gossip? The captain of the Legion seems like a fair man, even if the rest of them would throw you under a cart for a pint of beer. What have you heard about Councillor Jake's murder? That poor man deserved much better. I hope they hang his wife Esmeralda. She's as guilty as sin. Okay, good chips. Bro. So, I'll take my leave. Goodbye. What have we got here? Attitude 15, so they kind of like us. We looked at these, right? Okay. Okay, about you.
Greetings.
All hail the rain spirit. That was a fine display of magicianship it was. Aru knew that he was doing bringing out a source center, didn't he? Burning ship. Okay. Tell me about yourself. Eek! Oh, sorry, I thought you were a zombie. You can never be too sure these days. Sicil, now that's a sad story. Roofs of elegant homes burned for fuel, oaken cupboards emptied, and ladies dragging the dregs of their great skirts to bargain for bones. Or dragging the dregs off of their feet. What do you know about the plague? Okay, said that one already. Attacks on the harbor. Many of us nearly lost our own lives in that debacle. It was all hands on deck, and anyone who could wield a pitchfork was armed and ready to hold the line. The Legion? If you get bored, you can always engage a Legionnaire in some conversation. They're happy to tell you all about their feats of valor and skill between belches. Orcs? I suppose... Okay... Gossip. I recently passed by the docks, and I could have sworn I saw 2 guards with a female orc, but she showed not the faintest indication of orcish bloodlust. I need to lay off the ergo. What have you heard about Councillor Jake's murder? Have you spoken to Captain Aureus yet? He's in charge of the investigation, and there's no better man for the job. Councillor Jake will be avenged. I'm sure of it. You have an arrowhead. Probably want 12. Okay, well. I'll take my leave then.
Bye.
Bye. How about you?
Greetings.
Burning ship. Yourself. Seal. We're surrounded, undead haunting every exit, orcs gnashing at every entrance, sealed in like mummies, you know. Undead plague. They came out of nowhere. Must have been, 2 years now, the very heart of winter. I smelt them before I saw them in the night. Torchlight reflected in their eyes like a dozen of predators. But these were no wolves. These were our ancestors come to devour their offspring. We're grateful for them, sure, the Legions, though that warehouse full of supplies meant only for Legionnaires tends to rub the average deprived Sicilian the wrong way. The orcs? Though, I doubt even the orcs are so dumb-witted as to want to seize control of a half-dead city flanked by incorrigible plague of skeletons. What else could explain that barbarous assault on the harbor? Gossip? Everyone's pretty baffled as to why the orcs keep causing problems here in Tizil. The city has had one foot in the grave for the better part of 2 years now. I certainly can't think of what they want here. The murderer. Right. You think the wife did it. Gotcha. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Right. So where is this orc, anyway? So let's go this way. Might be along here.
Steady, boys, steady. We'll be leaving as soon as we're packed up.
I can't even smell the sea air over this.
There's so much to look at and do here. Fish pile. What's in there? Surprise! It's a fish. Is there another fish in here? Nope. No fish. Oh. Fishing rod? Woohoo! You get yourself a fishing rod too. So, can we fish? Right. Let's equip that. Okay, so I think it's control. I thought you were gonna fish with it. No, you're not gonna fish with it. Well, that's too bad. That would have been nice if you could fish with it. Oh well, I guess we'll sell them. But yeah, let's give you your sword back then. Oh well, it was worth a shot. Let's get Val. Glad nobody minds us rummaging through all these boxes and such. Oh. Let's take that. Minor healing. Can't get that one? Sacks. Not enough strength? Maybe it just means he can't pick them up. Alright. Okay, so as soon as you move, they close, so you don't have to close them yourself. That's good to know. Never even thought of trying that. Oh. Okay. Can we get to that one? Yes. Okay. Is there another one? Yes, there's another one. Right there. Okay. A bowl. Well, we'll take everything. Yes. Water barrel. Can't open that. Right, so that's... So So we keep hearing the orc purring. I don't know if orcs purred, so that has to be over here somewhere. Ooh, stuffs? 90. Oh, that looks like it'd be thievery.
Steady, boys, steady. We'll be leaving soon as we're packed up.
Yeah, it'd be thieving. Yeah. Actually, I was. Yeah.
And then I said to him, I said myself, if I don't start earning an extra
Okay,
gold
so let's
bits an
read
hour,
this.
I won't help that.
Crafting and cooking with Marindo, a guide tour for urban and feral bachelors. Part 1, the Bachelor's Guide to Crafting. Because girls will put ribbon and bows on your clubs and axes. Marindo, the all-knowing. Whether you're lost in a metropolis or the unstoppable, untrodden wilds, a proper bachelor can craft all he needs to survive an orc ambush or a singles ball. Let's have a look at some Marindo's classics. A good arrow starts with a shaft. You can make your own arrow shafts out of any tree branch. All it takes is a knife, which I sold. Ah. Then create your own special arrowheads to really surprise the enemy, but we'll leave that for another chapter. If you think a dagger takes you up too close and personal to an ugly enemy's face, try sticking it at the end of a tree branch so you can poke them. If you're not stabbing type, glue 2 branches together and you've got yourself a staff. Part 2, cooking. Because girls' dishes take ages and come with too many vegetables. By Meridino, the all-perceiving. Prepare yourself for the most versatile dish around, the one I've dubbed the Sicilian pie. All you need is a wheel of dough and whatever toppings take your fancy. Flesh, fish, or those funny mushrooms. Yours is the choice. Urban bachelors, prepare your pie and slide it in the oven. Feral bachelors, prepare your pie and heat it over a low fire. You can't go amiss with a Sicilian pie. The ultimate bachelor sustenance. The delicious smell may attract hungry, savage creatures. Meridino cannot be held responsible for the death of any pie-breaking feral bachelors. Here are some of Meridino's favorites. First off, prepare your dough. All it takes is some flour and water. This is your base ingredient for bread, but you can turn it into cheese bread dough with cheese, or Sicilian pie dough with fish, or even pizza with pizza sauce. To make pizza sauce, just smash a tomato with a hammer, for all I care. Ha ha! Okay, so when I look at the skills, recipes, so crafting and cooking with Meridino. Okay, so it is all in there. Awesome, so I can sell them once I've read them and not worry about losing any information. Lovely. Actually, in that case, let's go back here. I want to see if I can buy that Cure Poison scroll, or book, skill book. I think she can learn that one. I think she can.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500
Because
yards.
the skill she's got Hydra...
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
No, it ain't. He drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't forget the time
Sailor,
he got
what
caught
news from the
passing a
mainland?
boatload to
Oh,
the
nothing
lizard
new,
council's
sir.
wife.
Zombies, skeletons.
Okay,
You know
so
the
let's look
story.
at him. Well,
Speaking of you,
Back again.
that
yeah,
loopy
we are.
legion there really
I'm hoping I
thinks
can
that
hoard that
orchid
spell from you.
loves it.
Treat
I
poisoning.
wouldn't let an orc within 500
Does
yards.
this say
of
which
my
skill
lovely
it
nature.
requires?
Ever heard
Expert
about
marksman
the time the captain
skills
took the Duchess of
are
Ferrol's
skills for
carriage
archers
a
and
joyride?
rangers. High dexterity
No,
improves
it
their
ain't.
skills.
He drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and
Archers
don't
and
forget
rangers.
the time he got caught passing a
Well, I
boatload
should be
to
able
the
to learn
lizard
that, right?
councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful gore
Okay,
anymore?
873. There's no way in
Speaking of youthful gore,
God's
that
creation I'm
loopy
going to be able to afford that.
legionnaire really thinks that
And but we can sell
loves it.
these books.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Okay.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the
Field
Duchess of
guide.
Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Secret Scroll.
No, it ain't. He
Legionnaires
drove it straight to the
Companion.
pub.
Oh,
Do we
and
have any
don't
more
forget
books?
the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's
Oh,
wife.
I really wish I
Is
hadn't
that why
sold
we
that
never sell
knife.
to youthful gore anymore?
And it's going to cost us 303 to get it back, too.
Speaking of youthful gore, that looping legionnaire
fishing
really
knife.
thinks that orchid shop
Oh well.
loves
Hopefully
it.
at some point we can
I
get
wouldn't let
another
an
knife.
orc within 500
I would like
yards
to get
of my
those.
loving nature.
Ever heard about the
give
time
me-
the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
What's that?
Oh,
That's a
no, it
repair
is.
hammer.
He drove it straight to the pub.
Too brittle to fight with.
Don't forget the time he got
291?
caught passing a love note to the lizard
You're only
councillor's
paying us.
wife.
Is that
Right,
why we never
okay,
sell to youthful gore anymore?
Well,
Speaking of youthful gore, that looping legionnaire really
What's that?
thinks that orchid charm loves
an
it.
identifying glass?
I wouldn't let an orc
Oh,
within 500 yards of my
we gotta
loving
get that
nature.
sometime. Mortar and pestle. 56
Ever heard about
gold.
the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's
The adept
carriage for a
crafter.
joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub.
Well,
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught
gonna cost
passing a
us
love note to the
94.
lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never
4.
sell to youthful gore anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore, that looping legionnaire really
Oh,
thinks
better.
that orchid
Ingredient.
charm loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took
Oh,
the
right.
Duchess of Ferrol's
Might as well
carriage
sell
for a
these.
joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to youthful gore anymore?
okay.
Speaking
So
of
now we
youthful
need
gore,
another.
that looping legionnaire really
34.
thinks that orchid charm
Can I
loves it.
type
I
34
wouldn't let an orc
now?
within
Okay,
500 yards of my loving nature.
34. Alright,
Ever
can we
heard
do
about
that?
the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard
Disarming
councillor's
traps.
wife.
Is
why
that
we never
Bertie
sail to
still a
youthful
right
gore anymore?
beaut?
Yes, sir. As fine a specimen as one of us.
Okay, so Steam Cloud.
That looping legionnaire really thinks
Got
that
stunning
orchid
arrow,
charm
a slow down
loves it.
arrow.
I wouldn't let an orc within
Smoke
500
screen.
yards
That one
of my
sounds really
loving
good.
nature.
Those are needles.
Ever heard about the time the
Darn
captain
it,
took the
I
Duchess
didn't
of
look at them
Ferrol's
closely
carriage
well.
for a joyride?
I thought there was a
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Let's
Oh,
go ahead
nothing
and put
new,
these
sir.
away then.
Zombies,
Don't forget the time
skeletons.
he got
Branch.
caught passing a love note to the lizard
Keep those.
councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail
Arrowheads.
to youthful gore anymore?
May as well put these in here too because we can't use
Speaking
them.
of youthful gore, that
Until we get
looping legionnaire really
parts.
thinks that orchid
Burning
charm
Touch skill book
loves it.
we'll put in here
I
because
wouldn't
we
let an
can't
orc
use that
within
yet.
500 yards of my
Can
loving
use
nature.
those. Smoke screen arrow, put that
Ever heard
there.
about the time the captain took the Duchess
Down
of
arrow,
Ferrol's
put
carriage for a
there.
joyride?
Is that Bertie still a right beaut?
Ingredients.
Yes,
We need more
as fine a specimen as
bags.
one of
Don't
us.
forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to youthful gore anymore?
So we could sell these.
Speaking of youthful gore,
These
that
hammers.
looping legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm
Okay, so we can sell the
loves it.
hammers. We can
I
sell
wouldn't
this
let an orc
gold
within
cup.
500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever heard about the time the
Oh,
captain
I
took
did
the
it
Duchess
again.
of Ferrol's carriage for a
Sailor,
joyride?
what news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing new, sir. Zombies,
Ah.
skeletons.
Oh,
You
and
know
don't
the
forget
story.
the
There's
time
gotta
he
be an
got
easier way to
caught
move these
passing
things
a love
from here.
note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that
sorry,
why
I
we
didn't
never
need
sail
to-
to youthful gore anymore?
Right. There, let's
Speaking
do
of
this all
youthful gore,
again.
that looping legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a
Is
love
that
note to the
Bertie
lizard
still a right
councillor's
beaut?
wife.
Yes, sir.
Is
As
that why we
fine
never
a
sail to
specimen
youthful
as one of
gore
us.
anymore?
We can make pizza sauce with that.
Speaking of youthful
And
gore,
we need
that
we need it
looping legionnaire really thinks that orchid charm loves
Sailor,
it.
what news from the
I wouldn't let
mainland?
an orc
Oh,
within
nothing
500
new,
yards
sir.
of my
Zombies,
loving nature.
skeletons. You know the story.
Ever heard about the time the
Okay,
captain
Garrett.
took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Oh, knowing
combine it.
him, he drove it straight to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love
So can I
note to the
keep that?
lizard councillor's
No.
wife.
Is that
So what
why
if I
we
put
never
it in
sail
here?
to youthful gore anymore?
No. Okay. We do need a.
Speaking of youthful gore, that
let's put them both
loopy
out
legionnaire
here.
really thinks that
That's me.
all
Is
keeps
that Bertie
No.
still
Loves
a
it.
right beaut?
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my
one of
loving
the
nature.
Here again.
Ever hear about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight to the...
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a
press
love
the
note
X
to the
button.
lizard councillor's wife.
And
Is that
let's
why we
go
never
to
sailed to
him.
youthful gore
Or I
anymore?
guess.
Speaking
so we
of
have
youthful
flour,
gore, that
cup of water.
loopy legionnaire really thinks that all teacher loves it.
Ah, so we
I
can
wouldn't
make
let an
dough.
orc within 500 yards of my loving nature.
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Oh, nothing new,
So
sir.
he's got he made dough.
Skeletons. You know the story.
Knowing him, he
So
drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't forget
If
the
she
time
gives
he
him
got
a
caught passing a love
case.
note to the lizard councillor's wife.
and what was the other? We needed the
Gore anymore.
tomato.
Speaking of youthful
Let's
gore,
put the.
that loopy
Is that
legionnaire
Bertie
really
still a
thinks
right
that
beaut?
all teacher
Yes, sir. As fine a specimen as one
I
of
wouldn't
us
let an orc
stocks up.
within
let's
500
put
yards
these
of my loving nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage
Right,
for a
so
joyride?
here you go.
He drove it straight to the pub.
See,
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
okay, so can we use a hammer? Here. Can we use a hammer on this?
Speaking
Yes,
of
we
youthful
can.
gore,
Sailor, what news from the mainland?
Okay,
Oh, nothing new, sir. Zombies, skeletons. You know the story.
I wouldn't let an orc
So
within
can we use
500
that
yards
on?
of my loving
yes.
ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess
And
of Ferrol's
then we
carriage for a
put.
joyride?
Knowing him,
It's empty now, but you can fill it up.
Oh, and don't forget the time
From
he got
a water
caught
barrel,
passing
perhaps.
a love note to the lizard councillor's
Source
wife.
Hunter's
is
shield?
that why we never sailed to
Why are
youthful
you
gore
not
anymore?
using that? Wear that.
Speaking of
Is that
youthful
Bertie
gore,
still a right beaut?
loopy
Yes, sir.
legionnaire
As
really
fine a
thinks
specimen
that
as
all
one of us
teacher
stocks up.
loves
Give that
it.
to Val,
I
because
wouldn't
she
let an
already
orc
has
within
some of those.
500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the
Oh,
pub.
and then let's put that
and
on
don't
it.
forget the time he got
No.
caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's
Not the
wife.
fish.
Is that why we never sailed to
But
youthful
so
gore
we could use the
anymore?
fish.
Sailor,
said
what news
slash.
from the
Now
mainland?
it's
Oh, nothing new,
Flash.
sir. Zombies, skeletons. You know the story.
Teacher loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500
Give
yards of
them
my
to
loving
him.
nature.
He's gonna be our cook.
Ever heard about the time the captain took
So
the
we can
Duchess
sell
of
that
Ferrol's
too.
carriage for a joyride?
Back here.
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the
Alright,
pub.
can we put.
Oh, and don't
Uh,
forget the
turn
time
on.
he
Is
got
that Bertie
caught
still
passing
a
love
right
note to the
beaut?
lizard
Yes, sir.
councillor's
As
Pizza
wife.
fine
dough.
a specimen
Is
as
that
one
why
of
we
us
never
stocks
sailed
up.
to youthful gore
Can we
anymore?
put it in here? No. Can we put
Speaking
a
of
mackerel on it?
youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that all
We tried the
teacher
place. Let's try the red
loves
snapper.
it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my
Okay.
loving nature.
Let's just put it in the backpack again for now.
Ever heard about the time
Oh,
the captain
cook.
took the Duchess of Ferrol's
Don't
carriage
ask me
for
why
a
he became
joyride?
our cook, but he did.
Knowing him, he drove it
It's his
straight to the
secret
pub.
passion.
Oh, and don't forget
Sailor,
the time
what
he
news
got
from the
caught
mainland?
passing a
Oh,
love
nothing
note to
new,
the
sir.
lizard
Zombies,
councillor's wife.
skeletons.
Is that
You
why
know
we
the
never
story.
sailed to
And-
youthful gore anymore?
But it can be filled. How can it be filled?
That loopy legionnaire really thinks that
close.
Orky charm loves it.
I wouldn't let an
I
orc
can't
within
put it there.
500 yards of my loving nature.
Ever heard
So-
about the time the captain took the Duchess of
Where's the
Ferrol's
water
carriage
barrel?
for a joyride?
Okay, let's go this way.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
And then I said to him, I said myself, if I don't
Maybe we need telekinesis to get into those. Isn't there a water barrel around here somewhere?
Side seal, side seal.
There was one over here, wasn't there?
Yes, honest pay for an honest day.
I think right there. Okay. Go stand here. Can I do this? I can do that. So cool. Okay, so the bowl
And then I said to him, I
Valentine
said to myself,
has.
if I don't start earning an extra gold piece an hour, I'll walk
sell it
out
to
that
them.
door.
Okay, so the bowl, let's give that to him as well. Oops.
Wow, what is it? Day labour's more suited to my nature anyhow. Yes,
Can I fill that?
honest pay for an honest day.
I can put the bowl on there. Okay, no, I don't want to do that. So is that how you fish then? Let's go over here, guys. Let's try the fishing. Because if that's the case, I'm going to go buy that fishing rod back. No, it's just going to drop it. Equip.
Speaking of youthful
No.
that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orchid
Okay, I still don't know how to fish them.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards
Alright,
of mine.
so we should keep one of these hammers for use with cooking. So that's awesome! So we can probably use the bowl too.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got
So,
caught passing a look
let's go ahead
to the
and-
councillor's wife.
That. Oops.
Speaking of youthful dog,
Open it.
that loopy
It's open it?
legionnaire really thinks
Oh, it's
that
behind it.
orchid
Okay. So let's go ahead and put
I wouldn't let an orc
this
within
in
500
here. We'll
yards
put the
of
cup
mine.
of water. I'm gonna put the fishing rod in there.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the
That's why
Pharaoh's carriage?
why he wasn't holding it, because it was in that. We'll just throw this in here so we can get it out of his main inventory. And we're gonna put the hammer in there now until we get a different, if we can find a lesser kind of hammer. So we give that to Val. He's doing the let's get a poison resistance potion. And we'll put that on there.
I wouldn't let an
That.
orc within 500 yards of mine.
Okay. Don't press that. Okay, so Val, you still have a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, we can't put apple juice. I'm kind of curious. Let's eat one of these shells. Oh, I guess that one we can sell. Okay, let's try this shell.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of
Did you
mine.
use it? Oh, water resistance. Okay. They give, so you have to use one to find out what they do.
Forget the time he got caught passing
Like
a love
that.
note to the lizard councillor's wife.
I am liking so much about this game. Okay, so let's eat this.
That loopy legionnaire really thinks that
I'm diseased.
loves it.
I
Duration
wouldn't let
3
an orc within
turns.
500
Okay,
yards of mine.
so don't eat that. Might be able to grind that thing with a mysterious bottle. This is an ingredient. Let's put these ingredients together.
Forget the time he got
We have an intelligence potion.
to the lizard councillor's wife.
Can't put it there.
Speaking of youthful dog,
Why can't we sell that?
loopy legionnaire really thinks
Okay, so we have some things we can sell.
loves it.
I wouldn't let an
Let's
orc
sell
within
this
500
and
yards
this.
of mine.
Magical armor potion. I'm not gonna sell that. Shears. I think we need to keep those, but I'm gonna give them to him to put in his bag.
Oh, and don't forget
Disarm
the time he
trap.
got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Used to disarm traps.
With youthful gore anymore.
Well, he's our rogue guy, so let's give him that.
Speaking of youthful dog,
That's an ingredient.
that loopy
These are
legionnaire
ingredients.
really
Let's put them
thinks that
here.
orchid loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within
We
500
want to
yards of mine.
shell that. We want to shell that?
Every time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's
use 3
carriage
action
for
points,
enjoyment.
but it doesn't do anything. This one does.
We drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't forget
That
the time
one
he got
does.
caught passing a
Let's
love
give
note
that
to
to
the
him.
lizard councillor's
So
wife.
they both have some. We're going to sell
Why we never
these.
sailed to you for
This is food. Constitution.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy
Okay, so we're going to
legionnaire
use this to
really
find out what it does.
loves
It heals, okay?
I wouldn't let an orc
I'm hoping that means the
500
next time we
yards in
find
my
one
love
that we'll be able to tell what it does.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the
Right.
Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for enjoyment? Oh, and don't forget
Some
the
guy
time he
singing
got
over there.
caught passing a love note to the
Okay,
lizard
so water
councillor's
resistance.
wife.
Is that why we never sailed
Put
to
these in here.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy
Well, maybe we should leave them out in case we figure out what they're...
I wouldn't let an orc within
They gotta be
500
handy,
yards of
right?
my loving nature.
Oh! Maybe because you need scoundrel in order to use it?
Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for enjoyment.
Okay, so we've got so many things here.
Straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't forget
the
the
power
time he
stands
got
at the
caught
end.
passing a love note to the lizard
There.
councillor's wife.
Put the tools at the end like this.
Speaking of youthful
Something
gore,
like that.
that loopy legionnaire
So many
really
stuff,
thinks
a
that
tool.
Orky loves it.
I guess
I
tool,
wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my
potion.
loving
I
nature.
guess that classes a potion.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for enjoyment?
No, it is. Drove it straight to the
That
pub.
down there.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed
So they
to
each
you
have
for
their own
glory?
gold. Didn't realize that till now.
Speaking of
Alright, so we have
youthful
potions.
gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that Orky chap
So let's
loves
take
it.
that off.
I wouldn't let an orc within
Oh.
500 yards of my loving
No, no, no. I need that.
Ever heard about the time the captain
I
took the
didn't realize
Duchess
I was
of
on him
Ferrol's
still.
carriage for enjoyment?
Knowing him, we drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and
That
don't
there.
forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
There we go.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful gore anymore?
Speaking of youthful
Okay,
gore,
so we want to
that
put this
loopy
here.
legionnaire really thinks that Orky chap loves it.
The head
I
by
wouldn't let an
spell.
orc within
Okay.
500 yards of my loving nature.
Guess that will have to do.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the
So
Duchess
let's-
of Ferrol's carriage for enjoyment?
Close that. Let's try go south.
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub.
The remainder of the
Oh, and
stuff.
don't forget the time he got
we
caught
wanna get
passing
rid
a
of.
love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful
See
gore
what else we can
anymore?
afford.
Back again?
Yes, we
Speaking
are
of
spending
youthful
all our
gore,
money.
That loopy legionnaire really thinks
Okay.
that Orky chap loves it.
We
I
are
wouldn't let an
going to
orc within
sell
500
the
yards
one
of my
hammer.
loving nature.
We're going to sell this.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for enjoyment?
That's the water resistance one. We're
Knowing
going to sell
him,
this one.
he drove it straight to the pub.
And this
Oh,
one.
and don't forget the time he got
Oh.
caught passing a love note
Yes,
to the
all of them,
lizard
please.
councillor's
We're
wife.
going to sell that one.
Is that why we never
Yes, all
sailed
of
to
them,
youthful
please.
gore anymore?
Speaking of
There's
youthful
bottle.
gore, that loopy legionnaire
Okay,
really
so that's
thinks
going to
that
give us
Orky chap
75.
loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc
Gotta
within
cook in
500
hot.
yards of my loving nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage
Yes,
for
I'm good.
enjoyment?
24.
Oh, knowing him, he drove
Fine.
it straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't
highway
forget the time
robbery.
he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Highway
Is that why we
robbery,
never
I
sailed
tell
to
you.
youthful gore anymore?
Okay,
Speaking of
so
youthful
let's,
gore, that loopy
gold,
legionnaire
your gold.
really thinks that Orky chap loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my
One.
loving nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess
Yeah,
of
close
Ferrol's
enough.
carriage for enjoyment?
Oh, knowing him, he drove it straight
accept
to the
your
pub.
offer.
Oh, and don't forget the time
So
he got
you can
caught
identify
passing
items,
a love
probably
note
charge
to the
us for it.
lizard councillor's wife.
And he can
Is that why
repair
we never
items.
sailed to youthful gore
Can he
anymore?
repair what she's wearing?
Speaking
Atrocity.
of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that Orky chap
Equipped.
loves
There we
it.
go.
I wouldn't let an
So what
orc
would he
within
charge
500
to
yards
fix?
of my loving nature.
The boat. Yeah.
Ever heard about the time
Sure,
the
why
captain
not?
took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
That's not big damage.
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub.
Source Hunter
Oh, and don't
Surround.
forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sail to youthful gore anymore?
Okay. Braveheart.
Speaking of youthful gore, that loopy legionnaire really thinks that orky charm
50.
loves it.
I wouldn't let an orc within 500 yards of my lovely nature.
Ever heard about the time the captain took the Duchess of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Okay.
Knowing him, he drove it straight to the pub.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught passing a love note to the lizard councillor's wife.
Is that why we never sailed to youthful
Save it
gore
here.
anymore?
Speaking of youthful gore,
Oh, yeah.
that
on it.
loopy
Save.
legionnaire really thinks that orky charm loves it.
I
I think
wouldn't
I'm
let
going
an
to
orc
number
within
these things.
500
Or start
yards of
numbering
my
them. Let's
lovely
call this
nature.
number 5. Shopping.
Ever heard about the time
Not
the
shop-
captain
shipping,
took the Duchess
shopping.
of Ferrol's carriage for a joyride?
Knowing him, he drove it straight
Okay.
to the pub and back.
Oh, and don't forget the time he got caught
Bye.
passing a love note to the lizard councillor's
I said it
wife.
before you did.
Yes, is that why we never sailed?
Alright. Oh, I should be heading off to bed here. I would like to stay up and play more, I really would. But it is getting late. So let's just save over that one. And we could go back to the main screen. Well, we'll find out here. Yep, we do. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, it actually exited out of the game. Okay, I thought it was going to go back to the... so let's go to the outro here then. Thank you very much for watching. My first look at Divinity Original Sin. I definitely think I'll be adding it to my roster of things that I'll be streaming. So I'll probably alternate between Wastelands and Divinity Original Sin. So, time for Val to go to bed. You take care now. Bye.